Welcome to Fear and Greed Summer Investing Series, brought to you by Vanta, specialists in compliance-led growth. I'm Sean Aylmer. Anyone who's visited a shopping centre in recent years will have come across Lovisa. Lovisa sells cheap jewellery. It's a relatively simple business, but is it one for your portfolio? As always, this is general information only, and you should seek independent advice before making investment decisions. Gaurav Sodhi is the Deputy Head of Research at Intelligent Investor. Gaurav, welcome back to Fear and Greed.
Thanks, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here.
So is it a simple business, Lovisa?
Yeah, it is a simple business, Sean. Retailing is typically pretty easy to understand as a concept. You're really making or buying something and then selling it at a margin. And because it's so simple, it is incredibly competitive, which is why when I first came across Lovisa, I actually thought it was a fraud. We were doing an exercise in the office looking at all these retailers, and the numbers coming out of Lovisa was so astonishing. There are particular markers we have in the office for frauds, and one of them is over profitability and a few technical accounting things that we look at. And this was setting off red flags. I thought this can't be right. There's something wrong here. This is a fraud. And I had it pinned down as a business that was going to explode. But then as I did a bit more work on it and we started to understand this business, we realized it's not a fraud. It is probably the best quality retailer I've ever seen.
Wow.
The most profitable retailer I've ever seen.
Why?
It's the operating model that they have. So let's just break down the profitability of Lovisa. It will absolutely astound you. They earn 80% gross margins. Incredible for retail. Their net margins are about 20%, which is kind of what Apple earns. I've never seen a retailer that earns a margin similar to, an ecosystem holder like Apple. It's just astonishing. So how do they do it? Well, Lovisa controls the entire value chain from design, production, wholesale, and retail. So when it comes to design, they have a team of designers who scour the world for trends. They then quickly produce those trends in factories that they control. So they have production facilities in China and all over the world. They then distribute, and they have DC distribution centers, again, all over the world, and they control all their retail outlets. So they are not giving up any margin to anyone else, and they have internalized that entire process from design, production, wholesale, distribution, and retail. That's because they capture margin all along the way. That's one of the secrets to their high profitability. The other thing that this business does, because they capture that whole process, it's high margin. And when you think about the nature of the good, it's a very high turnover good. Now, that's a really rare combination in retail. Typically, if you're a retailer, you might think of a grocery business, right? Like a Woolies or a Coles. They earn very small margins, but they turn over a lot of product. So that's how they generate their profitability. Very small margins, so 3-4% profit margins, but turn over a lot and a lot. On the other side, you have something like a Tiffany's, like a high-end jeweler. They might earn sort of a 50-60% margin, but they don't turn over their stock all that often. Now, Lovisa combines super high margin, 80% gross margin, along with super high inventory turnover. And that is a secret sauce. That's why I thought it was a fraud, because we don't often see that. I can't think of many businesses that are able to combine those two things together. And they are growing exponentially. I expect them to open their 1,000th store sometime in early 2025. 4 years ago, they had about 200 stores.
Wow. What the competitors, why are they doing it? No one else is doing it.
Yeah, they have lots of competitors, Sean, and lots of people have tried to copy what they're doing. I think one of the secrets here is also because they own their retail stores and the design and the retail is integrated, they collect lots of data from all over the world about what is selling and what is not. So at any point in time, they're able to tell you this item is selling, these trends are working, and those trends are not. And all that sales data feeds back into the design team, and that informs new designs. So actually, the more they grow, the larger their network, the better the quality of their data, and the better the information that informs the design team. And if you're a new competitor, you may start out, even if you start out with 4 or 5 stores, you just don't have that breadth of data to be able to hit the trends that Lovisa can find so much quicker. And because they have built out over time these distribution centers and these production facilities, They actually release about 100 new items every week. And no other retailer of this in this space can come anywhere close to that. So the advantages they have come from time and scale, and they're quite difficult to compete with.
Risks to Lovisa as an investor?
Yeah, so the big risk, and I think this is true for any retail stock, is that cheap costume jewelry is reliant on hitting the right trends. And there's a risk that trends change and maybe consumers no longer pursue cheap costume jewelry. They might seek out higher cost, better quality jewelry. So we may be in the middle of a sort of a long trend that suddenly comes to an end. So this requires constant monitoring because retail is trend driven. It is prone to fads, and we have to monitor this to make sure we are not on the receiving end of a fad.
Gaurav, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, Sean.
That was Gaurav Sodhi, Deputy Head of Research at Intelligent Investor. Remember to get your own independent advice before making decisions. This is Fear and Greed Summer Investing Series brought to you by Vanta. Vanta automates compliance for frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC 2, CPS 234 and Essential 8, saving time and money while building trust. Join over 8,000 companies like Atlassian, Dovetail and FireAnt managing real-time risk. Get $1,000 off at vanta.com/fear and greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.